Hey Flosstube, long time no see. This is Black Friday 2018, and I finally have some time to devote to an episode for Flosstube. So it's great to see everybody again. Work has been crazy. I knew it would be. It's a new job, so there's just getting used to a new school, new culture. I have meetings 3 or 4 times every week after school for various responsibilities. I tried sticking to my 10 stitches a night challenge, and some days I get some in, some days I don't. I don't want it to be a chore, so I've kind of let that one go by the wayside. But it's good to be back. This week I'm going to be talking about, or this episode, because I don't do this every week, is Little House and Country Cottage Needleworks. And the reason I chose this is because I have a few finishes already done, and these were the ones that got me deeper into cross stitching and discovering new designers. About 5 years ago, I moved back to my hometown, and there is an LNS bead shop that is in the next town over, so I can go there for stitch-ins and Friday night stitch group, and so that's really great. I have a really good community of stitchers that I hang out with, and every once in a while there are weekend stitch-ins or retreats as well, so that's really good. It's Pandas Crossing. And Donna has been doing a great job. Whenever she puts on a retreat, I love it. And some of the stuff I'll be showing you, they've done at past retreats, or I've done at past retreats as well. But when I moved back in town, I was trying to get into different designers, and Little House Needleworks. First of all, I love the name because of Little House on the Prairie, and a lot of it reminded me of that. And the designs were simple enough to get into, and I could use the specialty threads and different fabrics, and just kind of enlarge my experiences with cross stitching, because before then I was just doing like DMC and called for stuff, and now that I could actually go into a needlework store and see the fabric and threads there, I could do floss tosses, and it was super helpful. So I'm really glad, and I take advantage of the store as often as I can. So I'm gonna start off with some of the older stuff that I started with, more of the easy finishes. And some of these are finished or FFOs, and some of them are just FOs. So I have them in some kind of order. I don't think it's how I finish them. But the first one is Around the World, which is this pattern. Alright, and you can see on this side I have all of my notes. I don't really do that anymore. I keep a notebook for that. But I had to change some of the colors, especially the greens, because as you can see, I went all greened out on this one. And this was like a remnant piece that I decided to do this piece on, and I did a flat fold finish. Thanks to one of Vanna Pfeiffer, the Twisted Stitchers tutorials. And I love this piece because, you know, the roof here, I was able to use some of that specialty thread to kind of, you know, make the roof unique. And then I changed obviously some of this. I love how the grass turned out with the different patches. And it's all just how you stitch with the specialty fibers that makes it so interesting. I think the Desert Mesquite I changed to Poblano Pepper, and the Eggshell I changed to Weeks Dye Works Parchment, and Manor Red, which is supposed to be that one, is Brick from Weeks Dye Works. So I enjoyed how this came out. I love it, but I think it'll be leaving my house and going to a friend's because she liked it as well, and that's part of the fun of stitching it. Now the charts will be going to someone else at my stitch group, so she liked it, and since I have it, I'm not going to stitch it again. I'm just going to pass that on to her so she can work on it. So basically, don't be afraid to change the colors as you see fit if you do the floss toss. Like I said, the fabric, the green fabric I had, was just something I had, and I wanted to stitch it with what I had because, you know, I was on a stitching budget at the time. What's a stitching budget, right? And also for this pattern, there are quite a few mistakes with, not quite a few, it's like two, I exaggerate. The entire set of letters is in caterpillar, and it said it was in something else, and the red house, the windows, and the trim are in like 738. So, and the door is in that eggshell color. So, you know, always check the websites just in case there's something different from what you see on the chart. So that one came out good. I like that one. That was one of my first ones, but I think my very, very first one I saw was the bookshelf because I'm a reader and I loved all those, you know, Jane Austen, Charlotte Bronte. I got Laura Ingalls Wilder's name on there, so of course that was an appeal to me. Sense and Sensibility, the Secret Garden was one of my favorites, so I had to get that. Now I did change quite a bit, and I think I did a blog post on these years ago, back when I had a blog. So if that's still up, I'll I still have a blog. I just don't write on it. Because of time, but I did it on the same green as Around the World, but you can see I changed a lot of the colors to what I had on hand. Specifically, I think I used some Kreinik in the books. I changed some of the books to have like the specialty thread like right here. It kind of looks like that really aged leather, and all the books really. I like that idea. So there's that, and I just loved it. I changed it as I saw fit. So and again, I marked my changes on this is pretty much every color I changed on the back. And I just used, that was back when it was Crescent Colors, before it changed hands to Classic Colorworks. So yeah, that's how long I've had this. And I did some Gentle Arts, and I did some Weeks Dye Works, and it just depended what I had in my stash. So, which has bloomed and blossomed since I did this. Do I have a date on it? I do not have a date on it. Shame. But yeah, that one's been a while. Do I have a date on the other one? Yes, 2014 for this one. So the bookshelf was probably before that, 2013, I'm guessing. So those are two of the early ones that I completed and loved. So another one that I did was Home of a Needleworker 2. Is that what it is? Yes, 2. I just love the blue house and the way that it looked, so I picked that one up. I need to find the first one and see how much I like it. It's been a while since I saw it, but that's also another possibility in the future. But I love this one. No changes. I stitched it as is, except for maybe the fabric choice. I know the fabric I chose was doubloon. I don't remember who made it. But that was, let's see. Sometimes I like to keep the tags. Yes, it was doubloon, picture this plus. Belfast 32 cal. So it was a nice size piece. I was able to do my project on, and it came out nice. Would you like to see it? Michael's frame. I framed it myself, one of my early attempts at lacing. I think I did a little too tight, but we're just going to leave it in there. You can see the glass. There we go. But I just love the way that came out, and that hangs in my living room. All right. I also did Liberty. right here. Love that one. I didn't frame it. This was a retreat project at Panda's before I started going to retreat. Um, and I actually got the fabric that she used. It's not what it's called for. I did it as is. There's one mistake. One of the stars is up a little higher, but it's really not noticeable. And I made a pillow. And the fabric that I used, I actually got as a fat quarter set that's kind of old-fashioned American, Uncle Sam kind of colors. So the piping came from that. I just used that to make some piping, and then the back, of course, is kind of that old Americana look to it. So I used that. It was downstairs on my chair, but you can see that's just a fuzzball right here. Cleo got into that, and so I've had to put the pillows away because she's super hyper, and she's sitting right down here at me, and there you go. There's Cleo. She has to be part of it, you know that. So that's Liberty. Love that one. I also did Route 66. Love the little camper. Oh my goodness, it is so adorable. But I did mostly the called for colors, except I did change some things because of my fabric choice, and I'll point that out when I show it. But for the background, I did this kind of checked pattern because it looked like, you know, map grid lines, and I thought that would be super cute. For the pink and the blue, I did use, I believe they were Classic Colorworks for the camper. Because I used a white background, the dashes here I turned into yellow like that you see on the road. So it looks like you're driving down a road. Trying to see what else I changed. Those are the big things. I think there are some like lettering, not like spacing mistakes for the letters, but I can't remember where. And I know that when I did the back spacing for the road, I didn't quite get it right, but it's close enough. Also, the map of the United States calls for half cross stitching, but I didn't like the coverage it gave, so I just cross stitched the entire thing. I think I might have done the outline and then filled it in that way. Now, the fabric that I used for the backing, I made some stuff for my classroom out of this, and it shows the Big Apple in Seattle, and the Redwood Forest, Chicago, the Windy City, the Great Plains, all these great, the Mississippi River, and I thought that fit very well. And then the piping, I had some Route 66 fabric. So you can kind of see right here where the road sign was for that. So I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun to just figure out and to stick together. So that is my Route 66. And get off my lesson plans. Next, I have my Country Cottage Needleworks. I don't have as many of these. Actually, 2 that are finished, and I have several that I want to work on. So, the first one is Afternoon in London, and there was a whole series, New York, Paris, and Rome, but because of my affinity for London, because I, went there and spent a good amount of time in England in college, I decided this was the one that I wanted to do. The others didn't really have that emotional impact for me. So most of it is stitched as is. The big difference I did was on the house. It was kind of squat. So I added some windows up top. So I'll show you that. And that was a pretty easy thing to do. Now the background fabric I chose, and I know it seems really weird, a nice sky blue, because everyone thinks it's always rainy. over there, but it's really not. It might rain a little bit every day, but there are times when it's just beautiful and sunny out. So I wanted to capture that and just make it unique to me. And that's what I did. So let me tilt it so there's not too much of a glare. And you can see right over here with the windows, I just added some windows up there. It's just some squares. Just depends on, you know, what you can do. And this one I got professionally framed. When did I finish it? In 2016. And I have the sticker on the back. I got those at a retreat that tell you the pattern and the fabric. And I've gotten a lot better at keeping track of my fabric choices because I've logged it in like a journal. So that's Afternoon in London. And then for a retreat project, and I might need to find a background for this because it's such a thin fabric. We did like a coffee, tea, and chocolate theme at Pandas. So one of ours was the tea room, which I love. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to finish it. It could possibly be like just a flat finish that I can hang on the wall with the rest of my kind of tea room tea stuff. So this was done on a 28 count, which normally I try to go for 32 or higher. But that one just came out, oh, it's so good. And the way Donna finished it was on a tea cozy, but I'm just going to probably do that flat finish and hang it on a wall. That way, this fabric wasn't my favorite fabric. It might be kind of hard to tell, but I had it on Q-snaps. And because the weave is just, I don't know, it's not tight like I'm used to. It was not a Q-snap type of fabric. It was probably better off to put it in hand. You might be able to see when the Q-snaps, it shifts the threads around. Which there, it's not a problem. I could just ease those back into shape. But on the roof, when I took the Q-snaps off, it moved part of the roof over, and I had to take it apart and refixed it. So, bigger Q-snaps were in order to get, you know, and to finish this just in one piece. But I love it, and I haven't done anything with it, but I will. I know I will. I just love the colors. They're very cottagey, and I'm kind of into that now. Yeah, into that now. So those are the last ones that I finished or FFO'd. I'm going to be in the process of finishing. But, you know, there's two I have to finish. I think the bookshelf and the tea room. And there are several that I've bought just because I love their patterns that I will get around to. Just looking at my notes. Sorry, y'all. So, Little House Needleworks. I want to do the 13 Colonies. And I love this one. And I've got a lot of the DMC and the thread already. And my big dilemma is how I'm going to stitch it. It is one of the larger pieces. Its finished size is 10 3/4 by 15 3/4. Which isn't too huge, but do I want to do it over one on a 28 count? I mean, yeah, I don't know. So that would bring it down to a little bit more than half of that because it was on a 32 count. So I'm just not sure. I'm just going to have to measure out the size and see what size that I want. So it's not that big. It's definitely not a Mira size. So we'll see how that goes. I also like this one, which is an Americana sampling. And that's all I have. I just have the chart on that one. And I love this one. Oh my goodness, just the house alone, Lantern Lane. In fact, there's going to be a sale tomorrow. I might keep that one out to the side and kit it out this weekend, get the fabric for it. Because that would be a good winter project. Or I could do this one, Dwelling Place Sampler, to put with all my other house, my House of a Needleworker sampler. I just love that color. Love houses. Love houses. I love stitching houses. And I also have Rebecca Small, because it's a schoolhouse, you know, that one-room schoolhouse like Laura Ingalls Wilder taught in. Thank goodness we don't have that anymore. It's hard enough controlling one age group. Could you imagine having like 7-year-olds and 15-year-olds? No, no. I also have some that those are the ones I want to do eventually. I also have some that I'm probably not going to do that I had planned. Home Run Slugger. I had the fabric cut and everything, and they were going to be gifts, and life changed. And it's just, I don't think it would fit anymore. So I'm glad I waited on those, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So there's that one. I also had a copy of Country Cottage Kids, Little Bo Peep, and I really have no use to do that one either. I just like the colors, the pinks and the blues, but I have no need to do that one. So that one, I hope to find it a home. And then this one I bought, the Fear Not, for I am with you, be not dismayed. That was going to be a gift as well. I was going to convert the pinks to purples, and I even had it that far already. But again, life changes, and I'm probably not going to do that one, even with all the meaning behind it. I might hold on to it. Who knows what happens, but I'd rather it be passed on to someone who will do it. And, you know, like I said, things change, tastes change, and I can't keep and I can't stitch everything. So that is my Little House and Country Cottage Needleworks. I might have to get back into them. I haven't been into them too much lately. Sorry, that was Cleo. So, you know, we'll continue with that. Now, usually I would go into my whips right now, but my current works in progress are Christmas presents, and those individuals may be watching, and one knows that I'm going to stitch these, but I really don't want to show them because they're super cute. They're much better in picture, in reality, than they are in the pictures, in the catalogs, and online. So I'm just going to wait, and maybe my next episode, once they're gifted, I can insert the pictures of what I've done and do that. I'm really not reading anything right now. I have a book study for work, which doesn't really book studies for work. I read it because I must, but it's nothing really to discuss or to pass on. So I will pass on that. I've also gotten into doing paper crafts. I got into the Happy Planner a couple years ago. I think this is my 4th one, I think. I'm pretty sure. And I've gotten into the florals, so I got this one. And I'm all about the stickers. I'm all about that. It's insane. Like, I think I might have reached peak sticker. But I've also gotten into some other journaling projects as well. It just kind of keeps me organized. And one thing that I do is I don't really keep a bullet journal, but I do have a bullet journal book to just kind of keep track of things that I do, like books that I've read, so I can go back and look at it. And I also keep track of what I need for cross-stitch projects. I also do TV shows, and I need to update it because I've watched all of that. Okay. But what I did with cross-stitching, you can see my lettering's horrible, but it gets better, is I have the design. Do I have the chart? Do I have the fabric? Do I have the thread? When is it done? And then finished is when it's framed, or, you know, figure out what to do with it. So all of it gets highlighted once it's done, and I'll show y'all that eventually. So Florentina, I finished, or I did it, and it, this year. So I have several pages of that, so I know what I need to get for each thing. And see, home run hitter number 2 by 2 is right here. I'm probably gonna cross that off. Barefoot days I got from a retreat. I crossed that off. I'm not gonna do it. I might de-stash it eventually. Again, fear not, by Little House. I just cross those off really easily. And some things like up here don't have anything but the chart. So we may need to fix that. I have American Sampler and American Sampling. So yeah. Just got to take a look at that. And then I have, like, you can see right down here, Brooks Books, all of these little dolls that I haven't done yet. And then I have, hashtags I've put on my Instagram so that I can kind of keep track of that. I haven't done all of them. I think I kept up with Tiny Modernist, Haunted Mansion, Stitch Along, which I am still working on that. I put that to the side for Christmas stuff. I'll decorate it depending on what I'm doing. Got a lot of book sections. And then I went back into the cross stitch, so it's all connected together and I can find it. This page is a little bit of a mess just from stuff. And then that's my last section. And I'm getting a little better at my lettering. I just have to practice. Get that done. So yeah, I got quite a bit. Oh my goodness. Yeah, got a lot of stitching to do. For 2018, I didn't do too bad. I think I got like 18 things that I've stitched, completed. Not FFO'd all of them, just a few of them. I thought I wasn't doing too bad, and Mom was like, are you sure? Have you seen your Facebook and your Instagram? So I counted them all up out of that notebook, and that really gave me a better idea. Also for paper crafting into kind of this traveler's notebook thing, insanely, I mean, I'm deep, not as deep as other people, but I try to have it coordinated. I got this leather planner off eBay, little cat symbol or charm I got from Michael's. It's part of their Pemberley line. Of course, I had to get that. But I just use coordinated papers. I made a pen loop. I really need to sit up higher. And then just, all this. I made a folder. Y'all, for stickers. Okay. So all of that. And the back is a little bit coordinated too. And I've joined a couple of planner groups to order their stuff. And then I made this one for my niece so she can start journaling. That's something that my sister thinks will be good for her. And so these are just example books that I could put in there for her. And she's 7, so it's a good way to start for her. So I made that for her for Christmas. So that's what I've been into. That's part of what I've been doing over this break. I've also done a lot of crafting. Let's see. Oh, yep, there's the quilt frame. Messy quilt frame with another quilt on top of it. As you can see where it sags, that's where the cats lay on their time off. And you might be able to hear Cleo in the background. She wants me downstairs. She'll get over it. So I've had some of that to work on. I wanted to finish the quilt top on the frame by the end of this month. That's not going to happen. I really want to get that Christmas quilt done so I can have that downstairs. And yeah, it's just a general mess. Up here. Natural lights. Yeah, all my plans. A jar thread. So that's what's been going on here. I plan to be back over winter break, which is in only 4 weeks. I'm so excited. And then we have the long slog until spring break, but it'll be okay. I'm sure I'll have some mental health days in there that I'll need. So it was good talking to y'all again, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.